So, hello everyone. So today I will introduce you a Wikimedia project. So Wikimedia is the community behind Wikipedia. It's called LinguaLibre, and it's audio recording tools to record the vocabulary of language. And so far we have 260 languages. Yep, no, it's the other way. Okay. So if when we are locked on this slide, if you want to communicate without making noise, there is hand signals like this. So when you hear something you like, you can do like this. And when you don't like, you do like this. No. No problem. Yes. Okay. That work. Okay. So I will introduce the project from Wikimedia and Wikimedian, a bit of the history and so on. So to present myself quickly, I have a background in with e-learning. I'm an advocate of open education, and I like to say I'm Occitan, not French, because Occitan was a large population in the south of France, but we got kicked out, so our language got kicked out, so I like to push back. And because of this, I also pivoted from Chinese to minority language because of this history. And my superpower is to be able to make, with little money, I can do correct things. Yeah. So the outline of the presentation. And so for the origin of the project, and if that's working, I will try a demo. The origin of the project, I want first to ask you in the room, who among you work with dictionary on some language? Can you raise the hand? Okay. Who has native audio recordings on these dictionaries? Up, up. Okay. About 40% or something like that. And who needs more native recordings into their dictionary? Okay, so I am in the right place. So, as most innovation, LinguaLibre is born of frustration. So we had a student which was learning Ukrainian, and he wanted some vocabulary list with native audio. And the way back then was to record one word at a time when you click on and you click stop. So that was nasty and very slow. So he started, because he was a software engineer, he created a software, Shutka, and which allow you just start the software and you read, it detects there is audio detection. So when you have a silence, it jumps to the next word. So very, very efficient. And later, as a Wikimedian and open education advocate, I got in touch with him, and we worked together to get Wikipedia and this developer together, merge some project, and now the project looks like this. And I will try a demo, but you know how the demo works when we are, and that doesn't work. There should be a link. That will be, oh, I see it here. Tuk, tuk. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay, so I just come from our website. I connect. I go to Wikimedia website. It's commons. It's then I log in. Not now. Okay, it sent me back to the app. So if you have a Wikipedia account, you can contribute, or you can use the tool. Okay, and this is a system you allow. You make some tests. I will not do them, but after you define the speaker, we collaborated with some linguists to have a gender, the spoken language. These are just tests, so don't. The place of learning and the license of your contribution. Then you have various ways to load some word list. I will go with Occitan, and I will look for local list. I have, okay, I click on some list. I can also add the list myself. And then I have a list of words to record. I do next. And here, when I start, Ali Sakar. That's going a bit too fast. Yeah, it's sound detection, so we need a room very silent. And when you speak a word and that switch. And so the idea is just you get about 600, 800 words an hour. So, and you get the MP3 for each of your words. And the segmentation is really clean with the metadata and so on. Okay, I can go back to, yeah. So the interesting point with this software is the former software Stuttgart and LinguaLibre, it's the speed and the productivity of the software. That's very, very powerful software. So we encourage lexicographer to use it. No problem. The hesitation of people? No, that will not. That will make sound detection. So you have to go back. There is more feature. I cannot. I will not show you right now, but you can contact me if needed, and that's pretty intuitive also. So you have to check a bit what you are saying, and then you can go back with the arrow left, right. So okay. Yeah, that work. Okay, wonderful. So we move from a slow software to a fast software, very productive with 800 words an hour. And because of this, we put it online. That's a web apps now. And we have 260 languages in 6 years. We have more than 1 million recording by now. It's all open data and you can download it. Also, that was designed with a linguist from the University of Strasbourg. So we have speaker profile. We have new features which are coming with the next version, which allow you as a linguist, you can share a link with your native speaker. So they land directly on a page where they will have a list of words to record. And we have also something which is asked by the community, which are minimal dictionary, which is a step more frugal than Flex and these kind of things. That's just the word and minimal translation of the word. For the code maintenance, we have something which is now relatively stable. And for the funding, which funds mostly the code, it's Wikimedia France, some grants, and me finding some way to move forward. So what we get is we have the learner who want a dictionary, interactive dictionary with audio. So we need the data, and now we have the tool to create this data quickly. A key point I would like to underline is when we had this open source developer which was working on his side, and we made connection, and we acquired we brought this project into the Wikimedia ecosystem with some funding and so on. So now it's a Wikimedia project, but at first it was not. We just made a kind of open source acquisition in the open education ecosystem. And these are the sponsors by now. Next, for the project, the kind of project we have various language. So we have large language, smaller language, and very small language. So these are some workshops we made. And the typical case for French, Polish, this kind of language that's run by themselves, but you need a large population, and not only a large population, but also national language. When you have large population, but it's a secondary language, that's not as dynamic, or that's not the same dynamic. And for French and so on, that's self-documentation, as we saw yesterday. Then you have regional language with which are recognized in the country, like Basque, Occitan, and secondary language in India, this kind of language, which are very active, but it's kind of a reaction. This language community want to have some kind of active resistance compared to the national language. So this is a good group as well. And then we move to the diversity, the linguistic diversity, which I'm most interested by, because that's where the culture is, the most language are. And we move to small language with the main issue we had is for some of them, the writing system is very recent, but the elder speaks the system, but they cannot read it. And you have some teacher who read it but are not contributing. So we have similar issue, I guess, with the community of linguists. And what they want is revitalization tools. That's what they ask for. But they are not autonomous, so we have to make repeated workshop and training. We also have another kind of project which are ongoing. In Indonesia now we have a team which in 1 year they recorded 37 languages. And here you have the number of files for each language. It's not, sometimes it's very little, but that's quite some diversity. Then about our frontline, okay, about our frontline, we have sign language. We also have some feature for that with a web extension. So same idea, you have a pipeline, you have a need, you have a need for data, and so you have the tool with a video studio. We also have whistled Occitan. So I work on this, that's my favorite project at the time, with maps to reclaim the territory, the land and the village name. Most of these village names now are French, while this is an Occitan area. So that doesn't make sense. And we have recording for this name in whistled, Occitan whistled. And that's involved a lot of open source data. And we also have a live exhibit in Bayonne right now on this whistled Occitan. And with physical installation. And the map, you can interact with the map. For a bit more about quantitative, I made a gallery with the stats for each language, and you can see in orange that's the number of female speakers. We wanted to show it this because naturally we have like online contribution, we have an issue with this. So most of the time we just have 10% of female audio recording. We also want accents, local accent, and gender diversity, age diversity, these kind of things. In terms of geographics, these are our contributors. So you can see a nest around France, India, and Africa. And now, in the recent days, we have Indonesia, which is very active. But one issue we have is when you have 260 communities contributing, actually, when you examine the reuse of this data and this audio file, you only have 7+ communities which reuse this data. I say plus because when you have the French Wiktionary, you also have a lot of African community which can access the data, but that's really problematic when you have this kind of ratio. And we try to change this, but it's not easy. So our smallest community, we have the issue, we invite them to contribute, but they need a return on investment. Like what, how to reuse those data for inside the community. And an issue I have and trouble I have with the community is they are mostly French, so they are not very receptive to this kind of question. That's why we are starting a mini dictionary function soon. About the avenue forward, Wikimedia is a global community, so that's also why I'm here today, because that's a world network all around the world, everywhere, also in the very non-urban areas. We have a lot of tools. There is a boiling set of tools and a lot of energy. So that's a place, I think, which a community which will gain mutually to connect with linguists. And they are some kind of Wikimedian in residence, which can go to your institution, exchange with you on best practice. So we have things to learn a lot. And we also have tools which can be interesting for linguists. Tools or data or things like that. On development, now we are kind of stable or on a good path because we have found our grant and avenue for coding. And there is also the future is uncertain right now also because of artificial intelligence. So what is the future of audio recording when you take this into account? But we think that we still have a role to play because we are pushing for open source audio resource, and that's what academics and all the community on Wikipedia are doing. So, okay, and now the Q&A.
Thank you. So we went a bit over time, but we also had technical problems.
Thank you. C'est vraiment super. Thank you very much. Is it possible, instead of using word lists, to use picture lists, like as stimuli?
As prompt, I never thought about it. I just thought about it when with your project, so I took notes. That's very interesting. Not yet. We don't have it, but that's something which is possible.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I wanted to ask you about the recording part. So it's in an open license, right? So I wanted to ask you if there are some limits on whether it can be used also for commercial purposes or not.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
That's open, like Wikipedia. We are fully open, so everyone can reuse it. And if they sell an app, they can reuse our data. We want maximum spread.
And is it possible? I mean, it's always like this because I know that some communities are a bit, they don't like the idea that some companies are going to profit on their data. So I was wondering if you are handling that.
The community we come from is always maximum openness. I know there is this issue. So what I would advise in this case is you have to clone the project and make your own, and you have your own condition. That's fairly doable.
Thank you so much for your talk. You are doing a great job. I just want to know, how do you verify the authenticity of the data? Because it seems like everyone can just log in and then give a list of words. How do you verify whether these words are actually words in the language? Because people might end up learning things that does not exist. I don't know. Like, who can participate in giving data? Or what criteria can you use to select that the right people are giving the right information?
So our main defense mechanism against this is that virtually no one care about our project. So we are not notorious enough to get vandalized. So people who come to record and spend hours for speaking a language, they are in good faith. And That's the main defense mechanism. But sometimes we have a cross verification, and by example, we have some story or a user which was contributing, and then we have other people from this community which came and say this is a non-native speaker, so it's not the native accent. And we answered them that the point should be to tag it as that was Sicilian, so Sicilian by a non-native, and that's still data which is meaningful for research. But we should have this information as well.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's better like right from the start, where if you can really get like good people to give the data, because today nobody cares, but who knows tomorrow, you know? It might be something big and people would want to work with the data that has been deposited, and they might end up using wrong information.
By your side.
I guess we are...
Yeah, I would just like to say that the idea of Wikipedia in the first place was that everybody can contribute without being vetted. And if you look at the success of Wikipedia, I think that principle in general is confirmed. So don't start with putting up barriers. No, it's true. Don't start with barriers, but only start open and put up the barriers when you see that you run into problems.
And the core idea is to have an auto-documentation project. So the tool is online. People who want to document their language, they can come and
I mean, on Wikipedia, even for the Manchu entries or whatever, you know, historical information, you have so many brackets that say this statement needs to be confirmed or this is not verified and so on. So if you can do that on the yes.
Yeah, no, go.
No, okay. So if you can do that in the in your project, then that's very good. But
actually, I was thinking when the people record, they have to define the level of mastery they have. That's self-declaration. But for the person which said was recording Sicilian, he didn't state native, you know. So he said good level or something like that. So we have the information, but you have to dig a bit.
I'm afraid we're running out of time. Yeah, that's how it is. I'm sure we can all continue that discussion in a few minutes. So let's thank Hugo again for his nice talk.